You're a boy we watch with wonder. In halted speech.
So, welcome to another edition of Songwriter to Songwriter. Today we're here with Karen Cohen, and we're going to get to know Karen. Now, this is a little different. This is a departure for me because I know Karen from music. I've seen you perform and from the ACMA shows, but I don't really know Karen. Most of the other people I've interviewed, I already had a background of knowing them. So this is going to be a voyage of discovery for me as well as you. So welcome, Karen.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So how long have you played guitar?
I believe I picked one up around 12 years old.
Wow.
Something like that. My sister was playing, and so I learned too at the same time. She taught me a couple of... Actually, I started finger picking right off the bat. She taught me a little arpeggio, and House of the Rising Sun was my first song, and yeah. And the rest is history.
So you've been playing ever since?
Well, not consistently, you know. I put it down here and there, but I always had a guitar with me. I bought a new Gibson J50 when I was 16. That was saved up for my good guitar, and had it for, I guess about 45 years till I sold it.
You know, what I've heard, that 12 was a really good age for a lot of things, and I know that people talk about how difficult those tween years are,
right?
Adolescence and all that, but they say if you learn something over that period, it sticks with you.
Okay.
So, and I've heard like middle school teachers say the same thing. They said that kids can be extremely difficult, but if you can get through to them, you can change their life. So that was a good time to pick it up, and congratulations for sticking with it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I think anybody who picks up music young like that will continue to play whatever instrument for most of their lives.
Yeah.
At least, revisit it here and there.
Yeah, and people play a lot of music for a lot of different reasons. I think that most songwriters, and I think I've said this before, it's a lot of songwriting is therapy.
Yes.
Because it's easier to write about what you know and what you feel, and a lot of times those are difficult things.
Well, I haven't been a songwriter till much more recently.
Mm-hmm.
I never tried writing songs before. I guess the first real song I tried or did write was I went to Swananoa gatherings up in North Carolina, and the first one I came home, drove like 12 hours, got home, woke up the next morning, and this song just poured right out of me. And so that was my first saying, hey, I wrote a song. That was the first realization that, songwriting is a thing. And not that I took a songwriting class, but it was just the experience that and being around that much talent music, and it was just
inspiring.
Yeah.
And is this a song you still play?
I have played it, not real recently. I'm not going to play it today, but I did play it for the ACMA in one of their shows, actually, for songwriting.
Yeah, because I wrote songs, and I've really had no kind of theory background or anything. Never really took lessons, but when I was young, I wrote songs, and now I listen to them, and they're, if I even have them, and they're all kind of these whiny, adolescent, lonely songs, not a lot of depth to them,
Well, I think a lot of my songs are pretty much autobiographical.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get away from that now that I've got a little bit more experience. During COVID, I joined a songwriting group online, and there were all kinds of trials and tribulations. Write a song with out of this list of words, or write a song doing this or that. So
right.
It kind of stretches you a little bit more.
Yeah, my problem is I have plenty of ideas. I don't have to go and search for them, and in these times too, I think that certainly the songs of the last couple of years have been a lot of nostalgic, kind of retrospective songs. Looking back, because it's been kind of difficult times, a song that and I'm sure it's the same with you. I have like 4 or 5 songs rattling around in my head that just need some attention sometimes. So one of the songs I want to write is a happy song about good news, because we are bombarded by bad news everywhere. Everywhere you look, every conversation we seem to have, we're going to avoid that here now, and hopefully it seems to be about politics or COVID.
Yeah, we're going to avoid that. But yeah, and I get into that where I'm writing songs, about lost love or something or other, all these topics that are not so happy. And so this first song that I want to do was an attempt to make a happy song and an easy listening song. and something
Just
nice.
something easy on the ears.
Yeah, just something easy and nice and happy and tropical, all those things.
All those things.
Yeah.
Well, should we start out with a song then?
All right. This first song is called Dawn, and it is my favorite time of day. I think it's a magical time, so I wanted to write this happy song, and here we go.
Well, it's kind of interesting you talk about dawn because, my wife and I, we once a week we walk the beach for the turtles, right? And so you have to get up before dawn, get up first light on the beach.
Wow.
Like you said, beautiful time, and I love being up at dawn. I just don't like getting up.
Yeah.
That's my.
Yeah. Well, my problem is I don't get to sleep till dawn sometimes. So,
So
I'm
you're
the opposite.
You're a bona fide morning person.
I guess so. Lately.
And
So this is my song Dawn, a happy song, and I hope you like it. It's my favorite time of day, and it's a very special time, magical time, and I wanted to write a song about what I thought about it. Waiting on coming dawn, sleeping shadows stretch their arms, lobes of dew drop and rain. The new day says, let's start this thing. Birds sing like violins, doves coo like the woodwinds, crickets croak, percussion swells, dawn cracked sky like a bell. Trees inhale the rattling higher, fish and rocks step to the choir. Standing still, cliffs won't miss, trembling as they face this bliss. The light of dawn is spreading love everywhere she's never done. Around the world for me and you, each day starts anew. Morning sun and painted sky, the softest hues make me cry. Colors dress mist on with love, angels sing from high above. Ocean waves and says hello, sand and shells go with the flow. Crabs climb from their deep condo, greet this dawn with aloha-o. In the sea, whales blow their top, waking from beds pointing up. Jellyfish and stars pursue positions that might help their view. Morning sun and painted sky, the softest hues by and by. Mermaids sing from high above, they sing to men above. Morning sun and painted sky, the softest hues make me cry. Colors dress mist on with love, angels sing from high above. Angels sing from high above.
okay, very nice. I have to tell you, you have a lovely voice.
Thank
I really
you.
love your voice. And so you wrote that. That's in F.
Yeah, I wrote it in E.
And then
Yeah.
put the capo on there?
Capos, yeah.
Yeah, it's what I really like in the song is the feel of the song matches the topic of the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
you know, because
yeah,
you know,
the
you're not
musicality of it.
yeah, you don't really rock out usually with the dawn song. That's more of a, unless you're up all night and then you hit the dawn, right? But
No, it's a special time. You know, you have a certain feeling. You know, you know, it's funny that when I'm up, I can hear the birds just start at a certain time, and the sun hasn't even peaked, you know, gotten up yet.
Yeah.
They start, then the crickets start.
and then
It's just this whole thing. That
it's a
happens.
whole orchestra.
And
You
it
know, it's
happens
that,
every single day.
and I've always heard it called the dawn chorus.
There you go.
When the birds are singing, and they get the very first light, they're up,
Yeah.
they're hungry, they're rebonding. You know, they're very social creatures.
Yeah, they wake up and say hello.
And that's
Greetings.
and that's a new song. So I want to congratulate you for your bravery
Yeah.
performing a new song, because I know how we are in love with the latest thing we did, but it's a dangerous love because
Well, this one isn't the newest. I got a newer one even, but
Yeah.
this is about, I'd say, 6 months old maybe.
oh yeah.
Somewhere.
So I know from listening to you, one thing I do know before this is that you and my good friend Mike McMillan seem to like the same genre.
Mhm.
Like you're channeling that, you know, Mike even said it's a 1920s to 1940s Mississippi Delta blues, you know, the Robert Johnson and the,
Right.
you know,
Memphis Mini.
yep,
I like the women. Try to emulate the women players from that time.
yeah,
Give
yeah,
them equal time, but yeah, it's yeah. I don't know. I relate to it. It's an interesting style of playing. It's a little challenging, but it relates to finger picking and using your fingers, and it's very Mississippi Delta blues is very rhythmic. It's very percussive,
yes,
and I really like percussiveness. I look at the guitar almost as a percussive instrument.
yes.
Not maybe for a song like this, but
That's, you know,
the last song I wrote is which is about a week old, is that kind of a little bit more on that kind of.
and you know, like Bill Metz said the same thing. He said, you know, a guitar is a percussion instrument, and James Brown thinks that everything is a percussion instrument, no matter what you're playing. You know.
Depends who you are, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And you know, honestly, even vocals, but you know, there's a melody in there somewhere, you know, too. I mean, I think that one thing that really works sometimes is when you have the percussion background, the rhythm, and then you can play off that with the vocals, and they kind of, you know, soar a little bit. And you did that very well with that song. So,
Thanks.
so where are you from?
I was born in Queens, New York. Lived there till I was about 9, and moved out to the suburbs of Long Island.
Okay.
A place called Syosset. It's kind of on the north shore of Long Island.
Is that anywhere near where Bob Williams grew up?
Not too far away. I think he was in Massapequa? I'm not sure.
I think he was. He said where Jimmy Buttafuoco
Yeah.
is from.
But it's interesting. I wasn't on the right side of the tracks, but the high school I went to was on the other side of the tracks, as they say. And there were some very famous people who lived around that area. I mean, even John Lennon had a house up there, and Billy Joel, and different in that Pacific area. So it was sometimes challenging going to my high school. You know, you'd see.
See,
You'd see some people with, you know, who could dress really nice and do, you know, have all these great boots and vests and nice stuff.
there's always that. It wasn't me, of course, until today. As you can tell, I'm not much of a clothes horse. But you know, I think I grew up in a suburb of North Denver, and I don't know anybody who is famous around me.
Yeah. But anyway.
And so, how did you end up in Florida?
Oh, well, I was married, and my first husband was starting a business down here. I lived in Rhode Island at the time. I lived in Rhode Island for 15 years. I went to college there, and stayed on there after college,
Mm-hmm.
not doing anything particularly with my degree, but ended up getting married and coming to Florida because he and his friend were starting a window and door business in
Okay.
Sarasota, and so that's what I came down and never went back. So
And the marriage?
no, that was the first marriage. That didn't last very long. It was a lot of stress with the business and everything else going on, but it was not meant to be.
So, how old were you when you first married?
I was 34.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't like one of these teenage things.
No, and we actually had dated for 5 years and all
Yeah.
this other stuff. It's just is what it is.
So, any good songs come out of that?
Not that one. No, I don't think so. But my next song is about, well, my next song it's called Autumn Leaves, and it's an interesting song. It actually came out of what I was trying to write about was new love, but it kind of morphed into a song with my ideal of what a lifelong love would look like.
Oh, okay.
And
Well,
so, and since I haven't had one of those, it's like really in my head. But
that's my wife when we were newlyweds. She used to say she used to think the most romantic thing was an old couple walking around hand in hand, and every time we'd be walking along and she'd see that, she'd grab my hand and pull me a little closer, and that made it into one of my songs.
there you go.
Just because
Yeah, it's a special thing.
and
to
and
be
now
a long
we're
life.
there. Now that we're that old couple that other people can look at.
That's amazing. Good for you. Yeah. Well, I didn't make it there, but I still have hope in my life for that.
Well,
And-
I mean, as we age and mature, hopefully mature, that love means different things.
Yeah. But love is love. It's a universal thing. We'll go with that. One night air carried him in, a breeze through her window. The sheets were flung, the songs he sung were resting on her pillow. And in his words her heart healed. His music hears just what she feels. This cat he's courting holy, her grace is bathed in light. She is soft to the touch, he's hard as Samsonite. He sends her love songs for her to believe. She falls like autumn leaves, soft like an angel's touch. She's heaven sent, he's thunderstruck, right down to his core. And their hearts fly like autumn leaves, like autumn leaves. Nothing stands between them, they never want for more. Caring for each other, sharing what life is for. A melody they both know, in harmony, note for note.
did that song come from?
Well, like I said, it actually I started writing it when I was in a relationship that I thought was going real well. So it was a song about new love.
Mm-hmm.
And then the relationship ended, and then I've been rewriting and tweaking this song for a couple of years. But I think it finally ended up where it needed to be. It's kind of, the stages of love, and I think even the poignant part at the end where even when you have to let go of somebody passes or something that, they're still there. They never really go away.
Right, by the window is that reference, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's still there.
Yeah.
So that is, in a nutshell, is the beginning to the end of the whole life of love.
And so,
in my mind.
right. And so, okay, now I know because most people will say that every song is different about how they go about writing it. So, what was the first thing that really started that song? Was it the topic?
No, I actually had a poem that I wrote.
Okay.
That it was a weird jump off, but it was a poem that had a reference to Samson and Delilah.
Right.
As being a couple. So that's where the Samsonite came from, believe it or not. But and it changed into a different reference. But there was a poem in the beginning, and then I took the poem and tried to make a song out of it, and then it just, it completely changed. I don't have a formula, but I have done that in the past where I've written like a poem about an idea, and then they're very rigid poems. They don't have music to them yet, and the way I write them anyway. And then when I get a melody, after I read it, I get a melody, and then I put I massage the words. And
so you got to change the meter. So you start out with a poem that has a certain meter, right? And then you put it in a song which may not be conducive to that meter, so you've got to rework the words and change the phrasing sometimes to make it fit.
Yeah, it's not like I think of I'm going to write a song about, poppycock today, it's not like, I have pieces of paper all over my house.
Right. And do you also, like, with the instrumental part of that, do you, pardon my language, you like fart around with your guitar and you come up with something, you go, oh, that's not yours.
Usually when I start playing something with the words, a melody just comes out.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really,
And then you try to match the guitar to the melody?
I think the words bring the melody on for me.
But then the guitar, like when you're coming up with a chord progression.
No, the words dictate what I'm playing. That's how it works for me. I mean, if I'm, this song, it was a sensitive song, and when I was writing it and, writing the words for the poem, so it was just, once I started trying to put music to the words that I wrote, it just became what it came. I don't know how to explain it.
That's a part of a lot of people's process. It's just, sometimes it's that, the inspirational part of it. It's just like, kind of almost instinctive.
Yeah,
figure out something you want, or
I guess I'm more of an emotional writer, so I guess it is more instinctive in general.
Yeah.
Because I don't, necessarily have a formula to write by. Although my last song that I just wrote, I kind of used a formula in it, which will.
So you say you're new to the songwriting process. You've been playing guitar since you were 12.
Yeah.
And when did you write your first song?
I would say it's about 7-8 years ago.
Okay.
Something like that.
Now,
but I wasn't very prolific. So,
right.
If I wrote 2 songs in a year, right now, and with COVID and being retired, I just retired 2 weeks before COVID, but so now I have time to explore it a lot more.
And so did the ACMA have anything to do with your...
Yeah, a lot. I mean, I'm in the songwriters group there.
The Songwriter Circle.
Circle.
Yeah.
Sorry. And I did that on Zoom through COVID with Gene and some people.
Yes. So you were on last Sunday?
Yeah, we're back to Zoom, unfortunately. But, so, yeah, it all helps to hear other people and how they approach songs and write songs. There's a couple people who get on that Zoom circle from Ohio, and one in particular, I just love his songwriting. It's just so effortless, and the words just just are so easy and flow so well through all his songs.
There's,
You know?
yeah, because I've written songs in the past, and then I went through years without even owning a guitar, because careers and life gets in the way. But coming back here really got me re-energized to start writing some songs. And like you say, everybody goes there has some kind of strength. Some people are amazingly prolific.
Yeah.
Other people have, can play amazing guitars, and maybe they're not the best singers. Then there's, people have the whole package to come in, and
You never know how it hits you. I mean, and even Ken Crosby, who's an ACMA member, he pulled a song out a few weeks ago when I was there, and I said, I got to do that song. Will you let me do your song? So.
And he's the one that has a cigar box.
The cigar box, and he plays a
and
very specific way, is a very, very strong style.
Right.
But the words of the song, first of all, it was kind of a blues song, but the topic was the hook was the devil is a good-looking man. And I said, no, a woman's got to sing this song. So he very graciously let me take it, and I did my own rhythm melody with it, and brought it back to the circle, and
I know that the people who have attended the singer-songwriter circle for a while, they know Ken he's quite a very interesting lyricist. He paints some really lovely, it's not like direct, he has a way of kind of almost being, I don't know, metaphysical in the way he writes stuff. And,
the words, I'm doing it now. I mean, that's also a new one for me. But it's just his lyrics are amazing, and his style is his style, and he pulls it off great. I couldn't do it that way.
Yeah.
But I just had to rip off that song. It was a great song, and I now do it.
It's a great compliment for anybody. So what did you do before you retired?
I was in civil engineering as a CAD designer, and I've been doing that my whole career mostly. I started out in a little survey firm up in Rhode Island, and ended up, my last gig was with the utility department on a board in actually Charlotte County.
You two like doing power line stuff, or?
Well, utilities were underground piping, water, sewer, stuff like that. In civil engineering, I went to school for fine arts. I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts.
How'd you get into engineering from fine arts?
Well, I have a family. The family I come from is full of architects. My father was an architect. My grandfather was an architect.
Okay.
My mom's brother was an architect.
Right.
And I actually should have been an architect, but being rebellious as I was, I didn't want to do what they did, so I went on, became a fine artist. It was kind of a roundabout way. I went to Rhode Island School of Design. I transferred in there, and they said, well, you should go to RISD, you could probably do architecture there. And I said, fine, but I didn't realize, they didn't realize, and you need a portfolio to apply to the architectural school there. My portfolio was all fine arts because I was already doing art out in Buffalo College. So when I applied to the school, I just sent them my fine art portfolio, and I went into the fine arts program. It was kind of like not very well directed. Anyway, I ended up with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in printmaking, etching and lithography.
Okay. So, fingernails. Are you a bare finger picker? Or do you,
I am. My nails don't hold up all that well sometimes. Although when I play slide guitar on a resonator, and I've now moved to finger picks for that.
Oh yeah.
And mostly I found these finger picks. They actually have open.
I've seen them before, so you can
actually
feel
have
through
them
it.
with me, so
Yeah, I've seen them.
You can feel a little bit, but I find that because of I play pretty aggressively on a resonator, and because the amount of hours of practice that go into it, my fingers couldn't hold up to it, so I really had to move to finger picks just for the practicing. Chill about it.
Yeah. So have you written any songs that were from the last couple of years of semi-isolation?
I did write a COVID Christmas song. It's a great song, I think. Actually, I have a CD coming out.
Do you? Because you were recording. You said yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
And a few of my originals are on it. Probably about at least 5 or 6, and that COVID, it's called Next Christmas. That song is on it.
I think I've heard you play that one.
Yeah.
You played it. Did you play that at the Harry Chapin?
Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That,
So-
by the way, Harry Chapin benefit that's done by the ACMA, hosted by Kim Mayfield. It's a great thing. They're raising quite a bit of money. I think they were every week. I think they've slowed down a little bit because they're running out of players. 'Cause every week is pretty ambitious.
It is, but they've raised a ton of money. They're doing a great thing.
So
Kim
tell me,
and Roy are great.
is this your first CD?
Yes. And it's really a live CD. It's not like I've collaborated with a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
but I had this opportunity with a person who offered to record me, and he has great equipment, and it's all pro bono, and it's just like, yeah, he's really doing me a favor because he thinks I'm good and he wants me to get out there.
Now, so this is, so when you say live, it's just like you and your guitar playing it at the same time. You're not like playing the guitar and then doing vocals.
No, it's just me
Not
and
any
guitar,
kind of harmony
kind of like
or-
we're doing here. You
Yeah.
know, I might do 3 or 4 takes, and we'll pick the best one. And
Yeah.
yeah.
And do you like do a click track or anything, or is that?
No, I once worked with a click track with another friend of mine, and it was hard to get used to. But the thing is, you really have to pick the right tempo in the first place. You do all this work, you hear the end, and I found out, well, that whole song sounds too slow to me. I don't like it.
I do the same thing because I think I tend to
It
play.
loses the liveliness of it, I think.
Yeah, because I find that when I play, particularly when I first started performing in front of people in this latest kind of iteration, I would rush. And so the more nervous you are, the faster you go, and the faster you go, the more you screw up, and then the more nervous you get. It becomes
very
this
true.
runaway thing.
Yeah.
And I think I usually play my songs generally fast, especially for the number of lyrics I cram in there. But then when I've done that in a few songs where I said, okay, I'm just going to do a slower click track and give this more space, I listen to it and it sounds like it's just dragging.
It doesn't sound like it has the life that you want in it. Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just me being used to it being faster, or whether it's really the way it sounds.
I don't know either. I think when you're doing a song, and I'm just discovering this now, you really have to be in the moment of the song. You really have to connect with it for it to come out sounding not too fast, not too slow. And it's really a matter of, I kind of know them by heart. I don't use any words for them.
Right.
And I only have about 5 or 6 now that I do. But my originals, I really don't play them that often. So I gotta start playing them more, because if I decided I wanted, and when I retired, I wanted to make a little side money doing a few gigs out, in restaurants, whatever, cafes. Well, I won't play inside, or I won't play indoors. There's been 1 or 2 places I found where I can play outdoors, and it felt pretty safe. So for about 2 months, I was playing out.
So everything's by ear with you?
Pretty much, yeah. Like there's a Joni Mitchell song. Anyway, it's a Case of You. Now, she actually did that in open tuning, and I had no idea there was such a thing as an open tuning. But when I learned that little riff, I was just sounding out what I thought she was playing. So I made up my own positions and chords and went around and...
I love Joni Mitchell, first off, but I've heard that she has like 53, 54 different tunings that she does.
Yeah, and you know how she remembers them? You heard that story? You know how everybody goes and tunes a guitar 5, 5, 5, 5, 4, 5, whatever it is? Well, she does that with her tuning. So she's tuned to like a drop or open G or something. She'll be 7, 7, 5, 4, 3, 5.
Okay.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Instead of and I relate to that. And she's maybe because she's a visual artist also, because it's like she doesn't have to remember all these notes and what key is it and all this stuff. It's easy just to say, okay, and tune each note to that next string.
So back to your new album coming out.
Oh.
Is there going to be original Karen Cohen art on the cover?
I haven't figured that out yet. I was thinking of photographs, but maybe I should do something art-wise. Because my recent trip up to Vermont, I was visiting a dear friend who's an artist, and she got my juices flowing. She has a pottery studio up there and a gallery, and she's planting vegetables, and she's just, every little vignette you turn around is an absolute stunning combination of objects and things, and it was just
Yeah.
one of those places that just like, oh, I gotta do something. I gotta go home and do something. So she said, you gotta start wood carving again. She saw my wood carving. She said, so I sent her some pictures. She says, oh, that's your mission. You gotta start doing that. So now I've got to add on my list of music, songwriting, wood carving, and the list is getting longer.
Well, one of the beauties about retiring
Yeah.
is that you have the time to do what you want as opposed to what you
Yeah,
have to make.
it is
make the
great.
money.
Yeah,
So
I'm just starting to get into that flow.
Yeah, because my journey has taken me directions I didn't expect. So.
Yeah. So, COVID has put a little bit of a damper in it, but it is what it is, and
Yeah.
it all works out.
Probably not much risk working with wood for COVID.
No, but I have to go other places to find it. There aren't a lot, because I like to work with live logs, and I'm not working with blanks or laminated pieces. I like to work with real live log wood. So, and I don't have any left. I mean, I've worked with huge black walnut trees, and sugar maple from Vermont.
So it's just the harder woods that you like to work with?
Yeah, all hardwood. All hardwood. So, this is a brand new song, less than a week old, and that's a risky business, taking out a brand new song.
Especially in front of a camera.
In front of a camera and everything, but that's okay. I don't mind. I am so excited. I'm so in love with my new song, which is what we were going to talk about, how new songs are like new loves. You're blind to all the flaws, and you just love everything about it. And so,
they're just new. They're fresh in your mind, and
yeah,
you just
you're
have that
excited about 'em.
euphoria of creation. And
So my intention for this song was to write a blues song, and I read somewhere that the syllables in each line should be the same throughout the song for a blues song. I don't know
Really?
why or if it's true or not, but anyway, so I attempted to do that with this song, and each line has 12 syllables. Okay.
it's almost like a haiku.
Almost, yeah, I guess that's what it's like. So this is called the Toss and Turn Blues. Start it over. I got them beefsteak eyes and the toss and turn blues. I got the beefsteak eyes and the toss and turn blues. Yeah, the nights are long since the day that I met you. Once loved a man, started smelling like a rat. Yeah, I loved a man, started smelling like a rat. He was a two-time juggler, he wasn't where it's at. When I met you, honey, tried to tell you from the start. When I met you, honey, I tried to tell you from the start. Be careful with it, baby, but you went and jumped my heart. I got them toothpick lashes, they don't want to touch. I got toothpick lashes, no they won't touch. My eyes are like crackers, got no tears left to clutch. Say you're a true enough man, you won't do me wrong. So you're a true enough man, say you won't do me wrong. Well, prove it to me, honey, or you can't come along. I got them beefsteak eyes toss and turn blues. I got the beefsteak eyes and the toss and turn blues. Yeah, the night's all long since the day that I met you. Yeah, the night's all long since the day that I met you.
Okay, that song is gonna need some explaining.
Explaining.
Beefsteak eyes.
Yeah, red beefsteak tomatoes.
Oh, I see. Oh, beefsteak tomatoes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess it takes a little bit of a push there.
Yeah. So what about the lashes? Won't.
The toothpick lashes
Yeah.
they don't want to touch. Well, it's just because I stay up a lot and I have dry eyes. It's one of my reasons I don't sleep so well. So that's just a reference to not sleeping. Toothpick
Oh.
lashes, your
Oh.
eyes won't touch.
Okay.
Your lashes.
Toothpicks like when someone has like.
Yeah, you know that movie?
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah.
No,
Those,
it's
like,
not quite that
clockwork
bad.
orange or something. Yeah.
I know the imagery is a little weird, but that line just cracks me up, so I'm never going to take it out.
Well, there's an essay. There's a lot to be said for that, because sometimes I tend to be a little bit of a literalist,
Uh-huh.
I mean, I just say it, right? But a lot of songs that you grew up with, you had no idea what it was about, or it was vague enough where you come up with your own interpretation.
Well, blues tends to be pretty metaphorical.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you listen to some of these old songs from the 20s, I mean, they're all about some pretty nasty stuff and sexual connotation and all this, but they never come out and say it, all of Memphis Mini stuff, it's full of that stuff. And so it's very metaphorical, and that, this is a pretty metaphorical song too, I would think. Plus it's got the 12 syllables, and it was just kind of an exercise. I really wanted to do a blues song, and I wanted to, blues songs, some of them can be really blue, but blues songs of the past always had a really jumpy tune, and they talked about some serious stuff, but they always had a fun, jumpy tune to it.
Yeah, yeah.
So there were a couple of things I was trying for here.
It looks like it's a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, although I need a lot more practice on pulling it off.
But I think that also instead of having the guitar and then the vocals overlay, it's kind of they more interleave. You play the punchy guitar and then you sing.
Yeah.
You punchy guitar and
Again,
then you
that's
sing.
the call and response of the blues. That's another
Yeah.
technique. And so this song was really, writing a blues song using, because I've been doing blues for a long time. So I guess I incorporated a lot of, what I know about it and tried to, pull something off with it.
Well, that's part of it. Like you said, you play a lot of covers, and so that gives you a lot of there's a big toolbox.
Yeah.
When you're writing songs, because you see what a lot of people do, what you like, and then you can derive something from that for writing your songs.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
So, I hope you liked it. It's a new song. I like it.
It's a great song. It's a great song, and I'm gonna at this point I'm gonna thank Karen for coming all this way and sharing her gifts with us and letting us get to know her a little better. So once again, this is put on by the Americana Community Music Association. It's called Songwriter to Songwriter, and we do this whenever I can get together with somebody and in these inconvenient times and do it. But thanks again for Karen for coming out, and thanks for the ACMA for hosting this and all the other programs. If you're interested in songwriting, please look up the Songwriter Circle, because as Karen will tell you, it's a very inspirational place, and they're very you can get whatever kind of critique you want, but people are very supportive.
Very, very supportive.
Yeah,
And
it's
open to all levels. And Sundays, every other Sunday, 2 to 4.
Yep. And sooner or later, we're going to get back onto having our live shows at the church. Now, right now they're paused, so and this will be a little while before this gets actually published. So I'm not going to try to speculate about what the conditions will be by the time this is published. But there are some other outdoor shows coming up, and the weather is hopefully going to be conducive to playing outside without sweating like crazy. So we're all anxious to get out there and get the music flowing once again.
Yes, indeed. Keep it going.
Yeah. So thank you,
Even if
Karen.
you're indoors yourself.
Yeah.
getting so